What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 27 of Game and Talk. Happy to be back. We've been gone for a second. So we have the full cast finally, which is hype. Celia, how are you doing?
Pretty good. Glad Game and Talk's back.
Yeah.
It was lonely.
I know, exactly. It feels like a long time. RGT is also back. Are you going to be the host of this episode?
No, you're the host of this show, pal.
Okay, well,
Although
we
did good numbers. We got a ton of
yeah,
donations and shit.
I know you did.
Waiting for John to fucking pay up. But no, this is you're the host.
Okay. All right. Well, RGT's here again. We met up and hung out at Too Many Games. It was so good. If you missed the stream, you should go watch that. Celia, did you see that?
You guys told me to, and then my birthday party started, so I completely forgot.
Oh,
but
no, you had a bit of a stream of your own.
Yeah, so I look forward to watching it though. It'll be fun.
How was your birthday party?
Oh, it was really fun. It was a brunch, like danger thing. It was good.
Rad. I'm hella bummed I cannot be there.
It's okay. There'll be more.
Okay. And then, of course, Nate. How's it going?
I am still very disappointed and upset that the Portuguese national team did not advance in the Euro Cup as they played France and they lost in penalty kicks. Not because the France goalie blocked the kick, but because João Felix hit the post. And that was the only miss they had. They should have advanced. They would have played Spain. They would have defeated Spain. And they would be on their way to take on England in the Euro Cup finals, but it was not to be. This was Cristiano Ronaldo's final Euro Cup. And finally, the team will be able to move on without Ronaldo being a dead weight, as he has been for the last several years. So great things await the Portuguese national team.
Okay. I'm not a big soccer person.
Most people aren't.
Football.
Oh, might be. Well, before we get too far into the episode, and we have a lot to talk about like the weird Nintendo trailer that they released on top of a bunch of other stuff, but I do want to give a big thank you to our executive producers, John O, who we met at Too Many Games, which was awesome, Joshua Butts, Mr. Joby, Justin Maverick, who's a producer, The Game Orb, Trent A, Drunk on Tacos, A, and Avalon Cats, who are our star supporters.
Wait, you want to try that one again?
A billion cats. A billion. Abalon.
I don't know. It's all one word.
Fancy.
It's all one word. My bad. Anyways, thank you so much. And if you guys want to get shouted out or support the show, the best way to do so is to go to Patreon, or you can be a member over here. And we've got a ton of really cool members like Medallion in the chat and Mr. Pedro online and some other people. DC Fat Cat, I believe. Some people. It's really cool. You should join it. It's a vibe. But I guess the first thing we can get into is the Emio trailer.
Elmo.
You guys, this is crazy. I can bring up an article. Should I do that?
No.
Sure. Or not.
Oh.
I mean, so it dropped earlier today. Yes, I do have an empty one right here. It dropped earlier today. Very straight. There was an update though. I don't know if you saw the update from.
I don't think so. From Nintendo?
No, from Wario64. Hold on, I'll read it real quick.
Are you going to bring up an article, Sean?
No, tweet.
Interesting.
It's just a tweet.
Also, for those who don't know, Nintendo released a really random, like, sort of creepy trailer earlier today, this morning, and it is like a trailer and ends with this Japanese lettering, and it just translates to Smiling Man, and it was this guy with a paper bag over his head. So, a lot of people are wondering what it is, as are we.
All right, so Emio is rated MA15, restricted 13 in Australia for strong themes, violence, suicide references, themes, cruelty, and domestic abuse.
What?
Yeah, that's some. Hey,
that's crazy. Do we think this is a first-party Nintendo game?
You would think
Probably
so.
Published.
Yeah.
I would assume published.
I don't know. Like, I mean, why not? Like, why is it that Nintendo's not allowed to make something like that. You know, they should be. Any company should be able to make whatever they want. You have a diverse audience of different age groups and different types of games. I mean, they've dabbled in horror stuff before. They published Fatal Frame Made in a Blackwater on the Wii U. They published some other Fatal Frame games on the Wii, only in Japan. I mean, I guess that's pretty much it. Unless you want to include Luigi's Mansion. I mean, Luigi's Mansion. I mean, you're dealing with ghosts. What is a ghost? A ghost is a dead person.
Well, I mean, you can go further back. You can go to the GameCube. You had Eternal Darkness. You had Geist.
Oh, Geist.
Hey, Nintendo's no stranger to publishing M-rated games. They certainly shy away from it in certain regards. I mean, we do have Bayonetta on even the Switch, but for this to be a publishing deal, that definitely makes a lot more sense than Nintendo to develop it internally, because I don't think Nintendo really has an internal team who could address these type of topics in a game, at least not strongly. So you're going to find a very talented external studio, and you're going to partner with them. And as long as it's not Bloober Team or Forever Entertainment or some cheap European development studio who's just pitching a project and Nintendo said, hey, for a couple $1 million, we'll pick it up. Hopefully this comes from a good development team, one of caliber when it comes to the horror franchise, and they deliver something really unique here. I mean, I personally would love to see it be, maybe a game developed by Capcom, maybe something by members of Team Silent, but something that's going to really resonate with people and get them excited. And ideally, this isn't going to be a tease that just leads to nothing. Because you have a lot of people out there saying, oh, it's Fatal Frame. It's going to be something that nobody currently has a theory about. It's probably going to be a game or a new IP that's impossible to predict. And that can be very exciting, but it's also really going to depend on the exact focus and the approach to, whatever the game is and whomever is developing it. But for Nintendo to come out with such a cryptic, viral form of marketing is curious because they've never done this before.
Right.
Yeah, I find that really exciting because I did not know that you could get that type of support. Usually with like video game marketing, it's announcing it exists, which I guess this kind of like qualifies for that, but it's very, very vague and cryptic. So I would love to do that too. So I think that's
the next
very
Shovel
exciting.
Knight is just like horrifying.
I know. Oh my gosh, yeah, it's evil Shovel Knight. Whoa. But yeah, I think that's cool because usually it's like announcing that it exists, release date out now, and that's it. So Nintendo and especially NCL having such a support with this, which is why I'm assuming that it's a published title, is really exciting. I look forward to finding out what exactly it actually is. I don't know. It could be really cool if it was like a Famicom detective new game.
No.
I would love that.
Cool. That would be cool.
Normal horror. It's obviously going to be Japanese horror. That's fine.
Yeah.
But no, none
what
of
if
this.
What if it's the next Luigi's Mansion 4 and it's just super realistic?
No.
Luigi has like crazy high def like.
What if it were like a horror game in the vein of Clock Tower, where it was kind of a point and click adventure?
No.
Is that something that you would be interested in?
I love
No.
Do you want it to be like a Five Nights at Freddy's, but like Japanese and Nintendo?
No.
So what do you want? Well, Resident Evil? You want Silent Hill?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. It could be Japanese horror is always very different. Look at stuff like Fatal Frame. Look at stuff like Siren. It uses different tropes. American Western horror is usually, based around like gore and blood and, stuff like that. So I think you lean into the Japanese tropes. But I think you don't do a point and click game. You do something, I would say more of like a Siren.
Okay.
Because Siren is like really weird. So like you have to evade people who are like possessed, and like you could see through their perspective. So you use that to like hide in places and stuff like that. Like, and when you look at, strong themes, violence, suicide references, themes. I don't know if you could say that word on YouTube. I don't see why you can't, though. It's, the fuck. Cruelty and domestic abuse. Like maybe, because this is obviously, I'm assuming like a Japanese businessman with his little trench coat on. That's the vibe I'm getting from it. So, maybe it's like, what was that movie with Michael Douglas falling down? It's just falling down in Japan.
Yeah.
That'd be
kind of cool.
That would be dope.
Nate brought up Bloober Team, and I was reading an article by Polygon about this whole EMEO thing, and they said that Bloober said in 2023 that it was working on a new game codenamed Project M with studio Draw Distance that was being developed for Nintendo platforms. So do we think that could be what this has ended up being?
No, I think it was confirmed that it wasn't them.
Okay.
I don't know if it's had a hard confirmation, but it would be very awkward for Nintendo to be the one publishing these teasers because Project M is supposed to be a self-published game by Bloober, and Nintendo typically isn't that friendly to go out of their way to kind of do this type of marketing with a partner. So whatever this is, it has Nintendo's direct involvement, at least on a publishing level, and it just really stands out.
Bloober needs to make something worth a fuck before anything like that. Like, let's be realistic here. They don't have a crown jewel game. You know what I'm saying? They don't have something that it's like, oh, this is something they did really well. Everything has been mediocre to like decent. Like, there's like Silent Hill 2 needs to be their game that really, shows that they can make good stuff. Like what? The Medium, Blair Witch. Like they were okay, but they
also had a lot of people praised The Observer.
Did they develop that?
Yes, that's one of their original games.
I'm surprised.
I think that's what people kind of constitute as their crown jewel in terms of release. Like Layers of Fear definitely had received praise early on for the first one until people recognized how scripted everything was, and then they found out that they were stealing assets and such. And then you really figure out it's just a take on Portrait of Dorian Gray. Yeah, Bloober Team by no means is a terrific developer, and that's where whoever is doing this game, it just has to be prolific. They have to have a strength in this genre type. You can't just give it to you can't give it to Next Level Games and say do your best. They don't have that pedigree to them.
It's probably going to be Koei Tecmo. Let's be real.
You would assume that, kind of based a little bit on the themes that we did see in the very brief trailer. We know their talents with Fatal Frame and such, but that doesn't mean they can't extend their reach into something else. And with it being that Japanese tease, naturally you would also assume it's going to be a Japanese development team, which kind of limits the amount of possibilities.
Doesn't it point further to Koei Tecmo though?
Yes, I think so.
Because they've been a partner for Nintendo for a long time, like with all the Hyrule Warriors and the Warriors games and all that as well, right? That's the same developer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good guess that it's Koei Tecmo. But I think even more so than the trailer itself is just how vague everything was and how that's very not how Nintendo has done things for really a very long time now. It's a very open-ended. Right. It's got people talking. I think if they had something to show and it was just like a gameplay snippet or like a more well thought out longer trailer, I don't think people would have been as captivated by it. Like there's that mystery, that intrigue, that what the fuck am I watching sort of thing. Trying to pick up clues and stuff like that. So
right.
I
think
there's
also the mystery of when are we going to hear about this again? When are we going to get another image or a short trailer on Twitter or wherever they want to drop the information? Where will we get the next update? Because we just had the direct about a month ago, not even, about 3 weeks ago, and this was absent. And given that Japanese focus again, I think naturally you would assume going towards Tokyo Game Show, when Nintendo typically has a September Direct, that this game would resurface, but that's far from a guarantee. But at the same time, when you're going to do a viral marketing approach like this, you have to continually feed this fire. You can't let it go just absent for an extended period of time, because that smoke is going to settle and there's going to be a kind of a loss of interest. You have to continually provide this with fuel, be it every week, every 10 days, whatever, so people constantly have it on their mind and you keep that curiosity piqued. So I'm curious when Nintendo will revisit this, and maybe it is a weekly thing, maybe it's going to be a monthly thing, but ideally we do get additional information in somewhat the immediate future, just so we have an idea of exactly what this will be. And given that it is a Switch game, and that the marketing just started a random Wednesday in the early portion of July, kind of feels to me as though this is going to be a game that's out in the very immediate future, potentially before the conclusion of the calendar year.
Oh yeah, I think it's a Halloween game.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
October would make so much sense. So do we all think that we're going to see something from it, like hypothetically at a September Direct? Like that gets announced and we're like, okay,
They should
out
like
of this
have
slew of games.
it take over the Direct. Like, what do you have at that Direct? Some more GameCube shit? Like, just
Yeah,
have
I
this
want it
take
to-
over.
I want it to be like a Bray Wyatt promo where it's just
Yeah.
interrupting the Direct with random imagery.
Yeah, it could like
and
glitch
such.
in and stuff. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Mhm.
From a marketing perspective, Celia, how do you feel like is the best step for this?
I don't know, because like it's not following Nintendo's usual conventions. Obviously, it would make the most sense to give like more info in a direct. It could be an out now in a direct, honestly, depending on what the timing for that would be. It just kind of depends. I hope they give it a lot of like marketing, like I guess dollar spend, because like this is so straying from what Nintendo usually does. I would love to see them take it to a whole new level and have a lot of fun with it. I also really like spooky things in July. I think that's awesome. So yeah, I just look forward to what they're sharing. As for them keeping the audience engaged by releasing something like once a week or every 10 days or whatever, I don't feel like that will be the case. Because like when I mentioned marketing spend, like posting on social channels is considered like a value of $1. And considering that Nintendo has partner titles, third-party titles, and first-party that they have a calendar year to support, showing that much attention to, even though it's a partner, possibly partnered title, it just doesn't make sense. But I could be wrong. They could be doing all new things. But I look forward to seeing what they do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, sweet. That is all that. But we did get a couple super chats, so we'll go into those real quick. Andy with $2.99. Gabbo is coming.
You gotta like me. You gotta love me.
Yum Yum Raisin with $4.99. How can we send games to Celia and Josie?
What kind of games?
Yeah.
We're very busy.
It's free, pal. That's right up your alley.
I know. Okay, I'm kidding.
I
If it's
blow my
physical,
nose.
Josie and I can share because we live
True.
locally.
You can send us a code on Twitter, I guess.
Yeah, that works
The
too.
DM. Also, no need to do that.
Yeah, very kind and appreciated, but yeah, you
Yes,
don't have to.
very, very sweet of you. But we do have a couple other random stuff. So there was also just earlier, I think last week, the whole AI conversation was taking over with like what Nintendo's going to do in regards to AI. And there was some misquotes and misrepresentations of the stuff. And Sean, you did a whole video on it, right?
I did.
Would you like to like introduce this a little bit better than I can?
Well, I mean, what ended up happening was many major YouTube channels and publications used an inaccurate translation that made it seem like Nintendo was strongly against it and they're never going to use it. And that's not the case at all. They kept it very open-ended, and people got pissed at me for saying that. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, what you should be upset at the people who led you astray. I am here to correct these things. And all because you don't want to hear it, that's neither here nor there. It's factual. That shit pissed me. That pissed me off something fierce. Like, what do you...
Yeah.
Clickbait? Clickbait? No. It's clickbait to say Nintendo said no to generative AI when they clearly did not.
Well, and they use AI in Endless Ocean, right?
Yes.
Like that was the voice.
Yes, it was an AI voice.
Yeah.
But, you know, I guess people don't play video games. Hey, you know what? It is what it is, man.
So how do we feel about Nintendo bringing AI further into, or generative AI further into their game development? And like, what does that really mean? Like, are we going to generate worlds with AI, or what are we doing here?
It's all dependent on implementation.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we really don't have any indication or insight into how it would be implemented by Nintendo or any company in the development sector. If it's just to be, hey, you have the development team who has created, let's say, the overworld of Breath of the Wild, and now you want to use some of the regenerative AI to create some cliff sides and such, just so you aren't individually wasting your time placing these things, you're not taking away a job from anybody. You're aiding the developer. You're saving time by them using the AI to create this. A human still created the art. A human still created the assets. It's simply a complementary tool to ease the development cycle. So it all comes down to implementation. And all the companies are going to explore it. They're all going to see what benefits it has or if it has cons. And they're going to make a decision based upon that. And Nintendo coming out saying, we recognize the potential of AI, but we also recognize that you need that human factor when it comes to creating games. We don't want to take away the creativity of the human or the individual who is creating these projects, because the individual is what gives the game's charm and personality and all of that that makes it so special to play. So if it's just a complementary tool to ease the sake of development, then I really don't see an issue there. It only becomes an issue if it strips away the jobs of individuals.
I 100% agree with Nate. Like by default, I want to say like completely hate AI, like, you know, in the garbage. But if it can be used as a tool to make developers like quality of life better and could prevent crunch or something of the sort, then yeah, that sounds great. But like as it progresses, as long as it's regulated in a sense of where it doesn't take away jobs and doesn't make the game absolute shit, it could be good. I know that Square Enix, I think Ubisoft, and a few other companies have already announced that they would be incorporating AI into development. So it's definitely something that is inevitable in the space because there's going to be companies that pioneer it and make absolute shit. Some will like work on it and makes things that are possibly more profitable and better use of it. But we'll see. Though Nintendo dabbled in it with Endless Ocean. They tend to be, I would say technologically, they can be a little bit slower and a little bit more cautious with trends like this. But yeah, they left the door open to see. But if a company outright says that they're not going to use it, like absolutely not, I wouldn't trust them because I don't know. It just seems like that's unfortunately the way that things are going.
We need to get Alana Pierce's stance on it because she was very vehement about AI for helping with like story scripting.
Well, yeah, because it comes out shit and it takes out like a lot of corporations, what they'll do is they're like, oh, you know, we could have a complete staff of writers writing really unique, awesome content, or we could pay no one and have a computer jumble up things together based off of story scripts and then have one poor editor work on it. So yeah, in certain spaces, that is not making the writer's job easier. It's not generating like some cliffs so the developer like spends less time doing it. It's just writing crap, unoriginal, horrible crap.
Garbage.
But just to play devil's advocate here.
Okay.
You say that about current AI now, but look at how AI has already advanced in the year or so it's been available to the average consumer, what it's capable of doing. Like I get it. It's a scary thing, but you've already opened the door. You've already opened Pandora's box.
Have you ever told ChatGPT to make a YouTube script? It's the most basic crap in the world. So I feel like that's what it's going to spit out for stories too, regardless of how advanced it is, because it always bases it off of other shit. AI itself cannot be creative, right? So like putting it in a creative field feels like it's producing garbage.
Now, but you're looking at short term, and that I think is a bit problematic.
How can we make AI creative? We can't, right? Because they are always going to draw on human experience and human emotion. No, but it's going to get that prompt and it's going to make stories related to other people who have made stories on similar things. It's always going to derive itself from everything, right? Like AI art is entirely derived of all of the art on the internet that it studies and makes its own, but it cannot be original, right?
Correct. And if you think about the people that are like, yeah, we should implement it, they're like corporation CEO board types that don't
Yeah, they
care
just
about
don't
the
wanna
final
pay
product.
people.
Yeah, they just look at the bottom line. They're the people that decide, oh, instead of, I don't know, restoring more value to our company, we can just cut things and fire people and get our bonuses that way. I don't know. I don't trust it. I think it's good while it isn't early to like set out boundaries, because once it does get better, then if we don't have those boundaries in place, it's going to replace everyone.
In the
So it's
shimmering
important to do
world
that.
of Yacht
Yes.
Club games, where pixelated adventures intertwined with secrets and alliances, Josie Woah and Celia were once the closest of companions. They navigated treacherous
This is what you
dungeons
threw
and
into
unearthed ancient
ChatGPT.
relics together. Their bond forged in countless battles against formidable foes. But beneath Josie's cheerful demeanor lay a longing for power and recognition. One fateful night, amidst the glow of a distant moon, Josie's ambition eclipsed her loyalty. She made a dark pact with the game's arch-villain, betraying Celia and stealing the very artifact they had risked everything to find. Celia stood stunned and betrayed as Josie vanished into the shadows, leaving behind a shattered friendship and a world plunged into uncertainty.
That is the most generic story I've ever heard.
There we
Because all
go.
I
Yeah.
said was write me a paragraph story about Josie Woah betraying Celia from Yacht Club Games. Y'all are just, I think y'all are underestimating. What about those songs? What about those songs?
They're crap, though. People like them because of the gimmick. People like ChatGPT because of the gimmick. You can do shit like that, and then it's interesting. But
that's what's available to the average person. Imagine what's available to other people that were not being shown, is what I'm trying to say here. I don't like it. I think it's all fuckery and bullshit, but you have to be realistic at some point in time about this. What they're showing you now is not what a company would probably have access to. They probably have way more crazier tools. You've seen the videos. Look at how the videos have jumped in a matter of months in terms of quality, in terms of realism and stuff like that. Like, it's not just going to be like, okay, we've hit the peak and now everything is good. Like, shit's going to get hairy,
Right.
bro.
But
That's
that's
all
where
I'm
we
saying.
need that regulation. We need to
Yes.
have those laws and regulations put in place so we know exactly how far AI can be implemented. And that's when the companies come out and they say, hey, we're using AI in game development. We have to know exactly what this AI is being used for. If they come out and say, we have a group of artists who are creating avatars for such and such a game, but we're using AI to aid in creating some variants based upon those avatars just to give the player some extra options. Instead of having the artist create 3,000 avatars, we had them create 500, and then each one has 6 variants that were AI created. You'd probably have some people say, that's fine. That saved that artist or that team a lot of time having to create a slightly different symbol instead of wasting their time saying, I'm going to turn this hexagon slightly askew to the center. Now it's okay. Saves us time. We could focus on other areas. But if AI is left to just run rampant, you might have full games being produced by AI. And if that is the case, you crater the industry because creative and unique ideas will suffer because the AI is going to be taking from the algorithm already constructed concepts and just spitting out something that is void of any passion or any creativity. Now, this is different from machine-based AI like DLSS and FSR. Those are very different things. And DLSS is something Nintendo will be utilizing thanks to NVIDIA technology going with the Switch 2. We have EA using FSR from AMD. Those are types of AI that increase the resolution and performance of a game. These are very two different conversations. Whereas the AI that Nintendo specifically mentioned in this Q&A is about creation. And that's something that has to be heavily regulated when it reaches that peak that it is used in the industry as essentially a cost-saving measure.
But here's the thing. When we're talking about regulation, what are you talking about? Because China's not going to fucking listen to that. Some other countries aren't going to listen to that. If just select countries are the ones with the regulation, but other countries do what they want to do, much like they do with stuff like piracy, doesn't even make a fucking difference. How will you know?
Well, I mean, we'd have to worry about regulation. We'd have to worry about regulation in our country first. Because we can't impose laws outside of our country as far as AI is concerned. If a Japanese studio where they don't have laws regarding AI want to make a game entirely composed of AI, that is that Japanese company's freedom to do so. Then us as a consumer, we have that decision of whether or not we want to support that product.
Also, setting an industry standard while it's like still at the gates is really important. Like, Sean, I know you're like, oh, in the future, like not right now, but right now is the point to do it. Why would you want it to be like where it reaches its full potential and not have those safeguards? That just sounds really
I
stupid.
didn't say that. No,
well, you're like, oh no, it could be in ban. Okay, but that's how
you're
it's
also
coming off.
like, okay, well, I'm sure Congress is really, they can't even get their head out of their own fucking ass. Like, I'm sure
they don't know what Facebook is like.
Exactly. Like,
you see them talk about TikTok?
Fucking old idiots
Ticky
who
tack,
should be in
tic
nursing
tac toe.
homes. I don't give a fuck if it's a left person or a right person. Go the fuck away. There needs to be a limit on how old you could be for president. This is fucking ridiculous. This is fucking ridiculous. And technology is not old people's strong suit. Yet these are the people that are out here deciding things and doing stuff. It's ridiculous. We're all fucked. Get over it. We're all fucked, pal. Just ride the wave while it's here.
Would you vote for Mr. Beast if he was running in this election?
I don't vote.
That's interesting.
I don't vote.
Would you vote for Mr. Beast, Celia?
No, because I don't vote.
Celia.
Sean, are you named also Celia? Just wondering.
My surname.
I don't know. I would have to do my research.
I mean, up against these two candidates, I might.
I know, actually.
This is the only one who
It's
isn't.
a Simpsons episode. Douchebag versus bird sandwich. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
They're both about to hit the grave, too. I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
Well, we do have a couple super chats to jump into, and then we have a debate. Varang with $4.99. Love the Game Talk podcast. Thanks, Josie and RGT, for the great memories at Too Many Games.
No problem, Varang. Fucking
RGT and I partied with Varang. Nate, favorite ice cream flavor
Queen.
product. Wait, what? I can't say anything. Dark B, Andy, thank you for being a member for 1 month. He says, Nate, favorite ice cream flavor product during hot, sweaty summer. Is that like hot girl summer, but for boys?
I think it's just referring to the weather currently in the New England area where it's very warm and humid. I mean, you can't go wrong with a nice, refreshing cup of Dell's lemonade. But if not that, maybe a nice, cool glass of strawberry milk or coffee milk.
I was
not
so
explaining
shocked
what coffee milk is to people.
I feel like we talked about that on another episode.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe an after show. Do you know what that is, Celia?
No. What is that?
Nate?
It's coffee milk.
Coffee milk? Oh, yeah, like it's like a drink that's like sold usually like in cans, right?
No.
It's like coffee flavored milk.
It is coffee flavored milk, but they don't sell it in cans. It's not sold outside of. It's not sold outside of southern New England.
I think I've bought something very similar to it at like an H Mart
on the East Coast,
like a mocha latte.
Okay, coffee milk. I'm googling it. Oh, it's called milk coffee. Never mind.
You got them backwards.
Oop.
Happens to the best of us. There was also, this is real quick, but before we get into the debate, GameCube NSO thoughts. There were some leaks that apparently it could be possible, very possible. John talked about it.
What were the leaks? Just to catch us all.
Sean.
A GameCube controller seems to be going through customs or something like that. That has very similar part numbers to the NSO controllers for the N64 and Super Nintendo. I am more of the mindset that it's just going to be a GameCube controller that has Bluetooth, and they're gonna be like, "Hey, we're remaking all these GameCube games. Now you can play it with the GameCube controller that's Bluetooth, and it's official." I don't think it's NSO related.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would assume that a similar thing. I
it's
feel
hard
like
to say.
they're doing so many remakes right now, though. Why would they want to cannibalize those sales?
I mean,
There's still a lot of GameCube games that they could put on the service. Put Wave Race, Luigi's Mansion, Smash Brothers Melee.
I
But
feel
why
like they
would they
want to
do that
remake
instead of
Luigi's
just
Mansion.
instead of just selling them for $40 or 60? I mean, they just
60
sold.
bucks. Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, it all comes down to whether or not they even see value in those games that they could justify charging $40, $60, $50, $30 to do such a re-release.
They saw value in Luigi's Mansion 2, which is the weakest of the Luigi's Mansion games. You're going to tell me
would the
that
GameCube games get that amount of work done?
why not?
What did they do to Luigi's Mansion? They
Well-
just put it in HD and took it off the 3DS.
No, Luigi's Mansion 2 had a significant amount of work done, more than people may realize. Tantalus did a lot of work with that particular project. But when you look at the GameCube games ported over to the Switch so far, the only one that has truly significant amount of work has been Metroid Prime. Pikmin 1 and 2 were very basic. And they also had to, bundle them when they brought them to retail to really justify the price. Otherwise, they're what, $20 on the eShop?
It's pretty disappointing. Digital Foundry said it wasn't good. Did we lose Josie?
I think she had to go for a sec.
Was she getting robbed or something?
No,
Got
maybe. I don't know.
Got to
We'll,
poop.
we'll find out. Oh, geez. Yeah, no, I agree with you guys. Like, it would be cool to have GameCube on NSO. There's a lot of games that I'd love to revisit. But we'll see. I don't know. There are third-party GameCube controller to Switch adapters out on the market. So like they could, if that does come out, there'll probably be like an uptick of third party pushing that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that's what it is. They see, because I remember even back on like the Wii U, they had the Mayfair adapter or something like that, May something or another, and then Nintendo was like, "Ooh, we should make GameCube controllers again because people like them." So I think it's a.
I think the thing with GameCube NSO, I think, is really just an inevitability. They don't have that many pathways to navigate the future of NSO, and they have to continue to add platforms to really justify the price that they are charging individuals, especially as we move into a new generation. They're not going to just stick with the Game Boy and the NES, Super NES, N64 going into Switch 2. They have to introduce new hardware, and naturally, the GameCube is that next step. It's just going to be a question of how robust would the library of offerings be from the GameCube library, because yes, some games have been remastered or HD'd, and I think it would be quite funny, at least for myself, if they brought Wind Waker and Twilight Princess to the Switch via NSO and not with the HD versions from the Wii U.
Yeah, and I mean, there is sort of a precedent set with Super Mario. They did Super Mario 64 on NSO, and they also had it in the 3D All-Stars bundle. I don't know. I think there's another system before. I think like the DS comes before the GameCube, in my opinion.
I agree.
And plus, you still got to flesh out these other live. When was the last fucking time you did some Genesis games? Like, when was the last time you did a lot of stuff? Like, I feel like
dropped the ball.
Was it Sega?
Sega's got to submit.
I don't know.
But you see, that's the thing, is that when you look at the Genesis games, I believe we're in the area of maybe 6 months, if not a year, since the last Genesis drop. We finally just got some NES games after a extended drought regarding them. N64
Top of the
is
line
still
ones
very random with N64. Game Boy games are still very random. So you can tell they're definitely scraping the bottom of the barrel to get certain games to the service. So naturally, you want to introduce new hardware, be it DS, GameCube. You probably don't go as far as the Wii, just due to the controller aspect and a lot of licensing issues, and those games may be better suited to do some of those HD conversions. But whether or not this particular shipping log of the code they found that does relate to a GameCube controller means NSO, or if it's just Nintendo doing a wireless GameCube controller that's compatible with the Switch, because we know the Switch is compatible with the GameCube controllers to play Smash Brothers and such, remains to be seen. But if it was related to NSO, I wouldn't be shocked either.
Yeah.
Side note, I wouldn't blame Sega for not filing something for Genesis games not coming to NSO. I don't think that the process, I don't know the process for getting your games on NSO, but I don't think it comes from the bottom up. It would have to be NCL making a list and then reaching out for those licensing agreements.
Interesting. What's our debate? I don't even know what our debate is.
Today's debate is going to be a banger. We're talking about the best Nintendo controller. In the spirit of me trying the N64 controller for the first time, I haven't played a game with it, but I did hold it.
Oh
Yeah,
God!
Did you hold it correctly?
I'm not saying.
Or did you
that.
hold it the messed up way Sean does? Because Sean doesn't know how to hold an N64 controller.
I mean,
get the N64 controller and show us how you hold it.
I don't know where. Oh, it's over. I'm not getting up and going over.
Both
there.
of you get up and go get it.
Do it.
There's nothing.
We'll look at the cat in the meantime.
Okay, well, you guys need it. This is a podcast. We need audio from you guys. Debate something.
My name is Cat.
Polarizing. I have to turn off my camera.
So this is Mr. Schmutz. He is 4 years old.
Satan.
He's not. Oh, he wants to look through the window. You can go. He is my cat.
We needed you.
I know. He's just like goofing around. That's why I kept on looking, like, because he's been like messing with my desk stuff. Oh, it's still, the camera is still on me. Yeah. Hi guys. Why is it still on me? Oh man, the pressure. But yeah, that's Mr. Schmutz. He's my cat. He had his 4th birthday this past March. Okay, oh thank God.
All right.
Hi guys.
Here's a third-party N64 controller. And I'm going to hold it the way I've always held it, the way that I found photographic evidence from roughly probably 1998, 97 that picture was taken. I'd say 97 that picture was taken. We have a 3-prong design, 2 prongs here. Hold it like a normal controller. When you want to use the analog stick, you reach over. And when you want to use the D-pad, you're right here. That
is an abomination.
You use your middle finger for the Z button. It's perfect. Like, what's the problem?
That is the worst way to hold that controller. That never, ever crossed my mind, even as a child, to hold it the way you do.
Naturally, I go to hold the controller here. I'll show like this.
Ah! Because you're a natural woman.
Okay, for 2 games, that's totally fine.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think it's very dependent on what game you're playing. I'm playing Mario 64. You're over here. You're in the middle, right?
Oh, you're over here.
That is the intent.
Why? But why? I don't understand how this is comfortable.
I feel like this is really shitty design because I'm stretching my thumb to get to these.
Why is your other hand on the D-pad? You would never use that in a game like Mario 64.
Whoa.
Yeah, you don't.
Whoa, we're all the way on the side. Oh, okay. Never mind. That makes sense.
There you go.
All right, we just had the mind-blowing revelation for Josie with the N64 controller.
Okay, yeah. That does make sense. But, like, so do you ever need to use this, homie? Other than over the B button?
Very rarely will you have to use the L trigger in a game.
Why do you make things more complicated for yourself? Look, when it's this way, you have access to... What button don't I have access to right now?
I mean, he's kind of right, but it's just like you're going to give yourself arthritis. You're going to give yourself, like, really bad... But I kind of see the vision because you can also reach it like this.
Yes, you use your middle finger underneath. I don't understand.
I'm holding it like this for 2 seconds, and I feel like my hand is already cramping.
No, so it's the way you gotta hold it. You gotta see you hold it so like your 3 fingers back there. That's what you're holding it on. You want these 2 fingers to be kind of loosey goosey. So you're using an L trigger, R trigger.
Listen, I feel like if there's this much debate of how to hold a controller, it's a bad controller.
Because wrestling games, these are reversals.
Like,
so you're over here. You want to also hit the stick real quick.
Something I noticed is this back feels exactly like a nunchuck. Like when you're holding the Wii nunchuck, it feels the exact same.
It was the same design.
Oh, they were based on
that, and then they like just separated it.
Yeah,
because the Wii nunchuck, like having that in the controller, is literally a Nintendo 64, just broken apart.
That makes a lot of sense.
So for it. The reason that they made it that way was that they have options to it. So you have D-pad focused games, which tended not to be developed as much because everyone was transitioning over to the new gimmick for the Nintendo 64, which was 3D, hence, the joystick for it. But it gave developers option of what they wanted to focus on.
What if a developer goes crazy, though? I don't know if there are any, but what if they try to do D-pad has shit and you also have to move with the...
I think
that's where you have the C buttons.
Yeah,
the C buttons replicated what the D-pad would have been.
I don't think.
Oh, so there is literally no reason, Sean. There's no reason to do that.
Yeah,
no,
like
play a wrestling
means
game.
Of holding the controller is obsolete.
Play a wrestling game.
I did play a wrestling game. I played Warzone.
Yeah. Okay. First off, that's a fucking abortion of a game. So
it is the way you hold the controller of wrestling games.
No, I hold the controller properly. I have access to every button on here. If I'm holding it this way, I cannot access this L trigger. You can't do it unless you're going to take your hand off of it. I'm sorry. And no, I don't have big hands. I have big feet. I don't have big hands. Like, y'all are crazy, bro. Y'all are crazy. I'll fuck you up in some wrestling games too on the N64. Don't fuck with me with that.
I'm so confused. Does your wrist hurt?
No,
from holding the controller wrong for all these years?
Nothing hurts.
Oh.
I played N64 more than you and Josie combined.
Are you sure about
more
that?
Than Nate. Yes.
I disagree. I was an N64 kid, and I brought that shit to college, and I brought that to every place I've lived in. So you're holding it wrong.
I'm telling you, you're not. I'm not, because this is 100% accurate, correct. If you want to have, if you want to be a casual, sure, go ahead and get rid of the ability to hit the L trigger. If you want to be a professional, if you want to be a real gamer, you're gonna hold it like this, so you have access to everything.
But 99.99% of games.
So I think it just depends.
The Z trigger in place of the L trigger.
So what you want to do is you want to use a hand style that will work for only some of the games instead of a style that will work for all of the games. That's essentially what you're telling me.
There is no game that is incompatible with the proper way of holding the controller.
Yes, there is. It's called WCW NWO Revenge, WCW NWO World Tour, WWF WrestleMania 2000, and WWF No Mercy.
It sounds like those games were just poorly developed with the controller in mind.
They're the greatest wrestling games of all time.
I think you think that because they justify your abhorrent way of holding the controller.
No, they still recreate these games. They still make new versions of these games 25 plus years later. There's a reason why they're not doing that with every fucking. They're sure as fuck not doing it with Warzone. That's for true.
All right. So what is the best Nintendo controller? What are we thinking here? RGT, take it away.
Fuck you. The Pro controller, Switch Pro controller.
Oh, you took mine.
Yep. You want to make me go first? I'm gonna pick the easy one. Go fuck yourself. Put the poll up. I'll win it.
All right. I'm gonna hit us with the Wii controllers. Now, it's not necessarily a controller, but there's so many uses. It pioneered motion control, which literally wasn't a thing before that. And it's still really fun to play. So
you're going with that over the Wii Motion Plus? Wow, that's bold.
There's no way that's different. They're the same.
Whoa! What? Nate, educate.
I mean, the Wii Motion Plus has superior gyro technology.
Of course. Okay, so I guess I'm going with Wii Motion Plus, but
now the story changes. No. Interesting.
No. I'm going to say the Wii controller though.
Over the Wii Motion Plus.
No. They're the same thing.
They're not.
Technically, the branding on the controllers is different.
Oh my god. Fine. Wii Motion Plus.
Oh, interesting.
All right, Celia.
I'm pretty torn on this. Okay, can I do third party as well, or only first party?
We only got to go first party.
Only first party? Okay, obviously it's the Power Glove. No, I'm kidding. Okay,
banger.
It's hard because I want to say the GameCube controller, but I'm gonna go with the SNES controller. In particular, I like the Super Famicom colors, so I'm gonna go with that one.
Okay.
It feels great. It's ergonomic.
Okay. No, the SNES is pretty comfy.
Yeah.
Nate?
I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but I like this controller. It was hefty, fit well in my hand, well balanced. Never had an issue with it. Battery life was a little questionable. I'm going with the Wii U gamepad. Big D-pad, big buttons, big
What
controller.
the hell?
Very comfortable, very
It
ergonomic.
felt like a toy.
I'm not talking about the quality. I'm just talking about the feel. It was good enough. I liked the size of the controller. It reminded me of the beefy Duke controller from the original Xbox, which is one of the greatest controllers ever made.
It's horrible. It's too big.
It is not too big.
Did you touch or not touch? Did you get your hands on the Hyperkin Duke?
I did not.
That's fine. I did the marketing campaign for that. That's why I was curious.
I didn't get it because I saw a lot of the reviews were coming out after a few months where they said it broke.
Yeah, well, the Hyperkin. But but hey, it looked cool. It was real fun. The marketing was that it was big. That's what I focused on.
See, my second choice was going to be a classic, and it is the GameCube Wavebird.
That's such a specific.
I think it's good, but I don't know if it's one of the best. It's kind of bulky because they had, you got to have batteries with it. I always felt it was kind of bulky comparative to the standard GameCube controller. Where's the poll, please?
I'm trying to put it up right now, but it's not.
If you were to play a GameCube game, which controller would you have had a preference? Would you rather have used the Wavebird or a standard GameCube controller?
Where am I sitting?
I mean, of course that's going to determine because you only had like a 5-foot cord.
You can get an extension.
Okay, you're sitting 12 feet away from your television.
In an ideal situation, I'd rather have the standard GameCube over a Wavebird. I think it's just more comfortable.
Wasn't the marketing for the Wavebird like a guy from his toilet? Like that was like a I remember that magazine ad.
Yeah, he was playing it he was on the toilet playing it with the mirror reflection.
That's wild.
That thing had great range. And the battery life was phenomenal.
So what is your actual? Is it Wavebird or are you going Wii U gamepad?
I think I went with the Wii U gamepad.
Okay. And then RGT had us with Switch Pro.
Switch Pro. It's about time I won one of these damn polls. Usually get fucked over.
And with that, you just lost.
Nope.
Make sure that you vote for Wii because it was the best. Pioneered motion controls. Switch gyro just kind of rips it off.
I mean, the Wii controller is phenomenal. It's very comfortable.
Are we talking about Wii or Wii Motion Plus?
Stop. They're the same. Wii Motion Plus.
I'm just asking. Yeah, look at that. 55%. Let's go.
The poll is still young.
While we wait for that,
9%.
we can hit us with Darthest with $2. Nate, what's your fave glizzy?
It's got to be a Nathan's.
I don't know what that is.
Hot dog. What's your favorite hot dog?
You mean like a brand?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe a Sabrett, maybe Nathan's.
It's got to be a Nathan's.
Sabrett's good, though.
Yeah, but I mean, they just opened a Nathan's near me.
Is it good?
Fuck yeah, it's Nathan's. You didn't have a Nathan's when you were here, did you? They're crisp.
How do they compare to Costco?
Crunch.
No.
Oh, Costco's so good.
Oh, I love Costco.
Did you really just bring up Costco hot dogs?
Dude, yeah, they're delightful.
Yeah, they're cheap. All right, a Nathan's isn't going to be cheap, but it's going to be a much better wiener.
No, but you can get a dog and a soda for $1.50.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's insane.
Yeah,
but
you
know how much a hot wiener costs here? It's like $3 for a hot wiener here.
Yeah, how much for a drink? Bet you're at $6. We saved a lot of
Yeah,
money
but it's
over here.
amazing. If
The
you get
only
yourself
people-
2 hot wieners and a coffee milk, I don't care if it costs you $7. You're walking away satisfied.
The only people who are saying Costco over Nathan's are people who have not eaten Nathan's, like or Sabrett's. You know, really, they're kind of.
I
Very
think
similar.
you and Nate need to have a hot dog blind test where
Mm.
you don't know which is which and you decide what's better. I feel
No,
like that's the only.
You will
I
know.
agree.
I would
Because
100%
once again,
know the difference between a Nathan's and a Costco.
because you people have never eaten a Nathan's. If you ate a Nathan, you could buy them at the grocery store. You could buy them at the grocery store. They're not quite
if
as
you
good
don't
as
have
the real thing.
If you don't have that snap,
Yeah,
you know
it's
you're not
snaps.
eating quality.
Yeah,
Is that the
You know-
slogan?
it should be.
I think it used to be.
A dog that slaps. Very good.
Snap, not slap.
Snap, snap.
If we ever do
It's the dog that snaps back.
Mm.
if we ever do a Game and Talk panel, we should have you guys taste test.
Oh, yes, we should. Next Too Many Games, Celia.
Yeah, I'll be there.
We did a Game and Talk panel. We had
Okay.
Wood on it.
With the full cast.
I am not going to too many games.
It wasn't bad
Oh,
this year. It was actually.
It was
Ever.
kind of cool.
You weren't there this year?
I never go.
Wait. For some reason I thought you would.
I never go and I never will.
Lame.
Mine.
Thank you for becoming a
61%.
certified gamer. RIP CDMR. Appreciate you.
I think it's Rip Commander.
Okay.
Or no, I guess it's not. You're right. I'm wrong.
L. JJ. What?
San. Watch Dragon Ball Z.
Don't
Okay,
do it.
okay.
Don't do it.
Now Nintendo has no excuses to not release Mother 3.
There's a million excuses. I think it's just petty at this point, and I approve of that.
It's true.
Just
I
fucking
agree.
Also
download
fact.
a
I
translated
just don't
ROM.
want to. Yeah.
Also, nobody would buy it.
Yeah, nobody's got. You think people don't buy Metroid? Release an Earthbound.
What if it came out with like the Link's Awakening art style though? I'd kind of
Doesn't
buy that,
matter.
and I don't even
Ugh.
care about Earthbound.
I don't know. Earthbound's everyone's favorite game that they've never played.
It's like Metroid. It's a very
True.
loud, dedicated fan base, but beyond that, people don't really care.
True. Okay.
I'm still
Spyro-
sad.
Oh no, you're good. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm still sad that we never got Earthbound 64. That
Mm,
was a canceled game.
that seems very rad. Spyro Jones just became a certified gamer, so welcome to the squad, dude. Thank you.
Why don't you like name it that? You could like name what the people are.
I did. It's called certified
Oh.
gamer. It just sucks on StreamYards. You don't think I came up with an awesome name? That's my official name of the thing. Drew Arco with 2 pounds, maybe.
Yeah.
Nate, do you think F-Zero is still coming to Nintendo Switch?
Yes, I do.
Shit. GX port or original?
Just something F-Zero. Something new from F-Zero.
F-Zero 99 2.
Something better than that.
F-Zero 100.
Hey. That one
That
extra
would
player
be-
may make all
that
the
would be better.
difference.
How'd the poll do? What are we at?
The pool or the pole?
The poll. I can't say words.
I won. I
Nice.
dominated. Look, Josie had to go cry. She had to go cry because she lost. Oh man, that's satisfying,
What are the numbers? What are the numbers in the poll?
bro. I fucking dominated. Like it's not even close.
Those aren't
Like,
numbers.
It's disgusting. Hold on, I'll
Let's
pull
hear
it
'em.
back up. Like you might cry too, just at how bad you did. Let me
People have
find it.
bad taste. People are saying
No.
Costco hot dogs. We learned their taste.
All right, so in last place is Wii Motion Plus at 5. In third place is Wii U Gamepad with 9. In
Respectable.
second place is Super Nintendo Entertainment System with 21%. And in a dominant first place, Switch Pro controller with 65%.
Congrats on your first ever win.
I
And
win all the
last.
time.
Okay.
It's like the battle of the sexes.
Lies. You guys lost the last one, and Brett cut it off because he didn't want to live with the fact that men took the fattest L
I don't know what you're talking about. The footage is clearly out there.
Yeah,
The
I mean, I
footage
saw
got a
the
little
footage.
cut off.
Sean was
Yeah?
in the middle of saying, I don't know what happened to this footage, and then it just cut off for some weird reason.
Yeah, because John fucked it up.
That's what we're gonna go with.
Wait, hold on. Imagine being in here for an hour watching fucking nerds. What does that say about you, man? Because you've been in here the whole time saying dumb shit. You got to be fucking bad, dude. If we're bad, but you're watching us, you got to be real bad. Enjoy.
Nerd. Okay. If you guys want more of this, we're going to be on the Game and Talk after show. It's going to be a banger. You can access that if you're a member or if you're a Patreon person. Again, thank you so much to our executive producers over there on Patreon. John O, Joshua Butts, Mr. Joby, and then our producers, Justin Maverick, The Game Orb, Trent A, and even our superstars we love, Drunk on Tacos A, and A Billion Cats. Thank you guys so much.
Oh, and he got a donation.
A sneaky little $5 at the end by Nobodies. He says, no juicy stories from too many games, no stream game hunts from anyone, no aftermath videos, so very anticlimactic. I did make one of those, so you can watch my video.
I made a pickups video, but I'm going to be on the second channel, but I'll be doing like a full video on what I got as far as like for usage.
And we'll talk about some of the juicy stories on the after show. We can't bring that stuff to the main show.
Yep.
A sneaky $20 donut at the very end. Thank you so much, Vampire Slayer. You're amazing. Celia, Josie, Nate, and Hot Wieners. Did it get weird in here? No, but I just made it weird. Never mind. Best controller will forever be the NES Zapper. Nothing like it. Thank you so much. You did make it weird. But we will see you guys in the after show. Say goodbye, Emio, or whatever the hell name. Oh, come on. Scary. Oh, do we have anything to plug, Celia? You want to plug anything?
Ask me next time.
Okay. Come back next week or 2 weeks. Okay, bye.